I don't know. Ask me tomorrow.
Work session together, please, to order. This is Tuesday, February 10th. And for roll call, I'm Alice Rose, the mayor.
Daphne West, Commission President.
Nancy Crashaw, Public Works Director, Oregon City City
Can
Engineer.
anybody pick this up? Are the mics on?
Yep.
Bill Kleisman. Bill Kleisman, Assistant City Attorney.
Larry Patterson, City Manager.
Rocky Smith, City Commissioner. Community Services Director.
Jim Leffler, HR Director.
David Wimmer, Finance Director.
Mike Conrad, Acting Police Chief.
Nancy Ide, City Recorder.
Adams County, sorry. Colin Minor, Oregon.
William Gifford.
Matt Graham, Oregon City News.
Elma Hagan, Mayor.
Pam Bloom, the Leasing.
Karen White, President Library.
Holden, Oregon City Law.
Okay, thank you. Let's move ahead then. The first item on the agenda is the place where we can add items to future work sessions. And Commissioner Jim, actually, we're very informal in the work session, so we can use first names if you like. So it's our Ken. Jim has given us a list of items that he wished on the agenda. However, what I might say is think about which of those actually belongs under City Commission goals and objectives. Because, for instance, if you are interested in beefing up the police department, that may be where you wish to have it, and that is the direction that we give to staff to do it. It becomes just a discussion item otherwise. So, or you can put it both places if you like. But anyway, now this is the opportunity for commissioners to suggest items that we may wish to discuss at future agendas. Commissioner Nocita.
Yeah, I'd like to start off by talking about one of the items on that memo I distributed, which is just a compilation of ideas that I had encountered on the campaign and from various individuals, and they're in varying degrees of difficulty. And one of the items that I thought was the most feasible because it seems to be logistically not difficult. And also there was some precedent for it in the city of Milwaukee, was the $10 assessment on speeding tickets going to go towards a dedicated police fund. And what I would like to do is, and I'll do this research, I'd like to put it on an agenda in the future, and then I would like to go to the city of Milwaukee and get their ordinance and all the background on what they did to establish this same type of fund, and then treat that particular item as kind of like the kind of the test case on what we can do to add to our police funding.
Okay, rather than having it under commission goals and objectives?
If folks want to talk about it tonight, I'd be more than happy to.
Well,
but as
no,
far as
we won't talk about it.
Sure.
It will be one of our, if enhancing the police department becomes one of the goals, then that will be placed on a future agenda with a full staff report on many, many ways that we possibly can do that. That might be one of them.
Okay.
So, am I correct on that process? Yes. Okay. So let's put that down as an idea so we don't lose it.
It seems though then everything, because the city commission goals and objectives is so kind of overarching, encompassing everything, that future commission items will kind of flow from that.
Yeah, they do.
And then it's probably kind of redundant even to suggest future agenda items until we determine what the goals are.
Right. That's kind of what I was intimating, that we may want to, and actually you can suggest future agenda items at any time. So if you wish to tonight, but Yeah, I think tonight's
Okay.
really kind of a special case because we may wish to put a number of things under goals and objectives as
Yeah.
they already are.
And as a procedural question, I do want to know about minority views as far as if I have something that the majority of the commission doesn't want to pursue, or if if a minority of the commission has something that is important to them, how is that handled if a majority of the commission doesn't want to handle it?
Can you count to 3?
I can count to 3. I mean,
That essentially, we work on the majority here because partly because it's a financial choice. When we have staff that have to do the research and the work, we want to make sure that it's at least of interest to have the majority of the commission before we move forward on that. Is that-
A couple of
Larry?
things too. Plus also, if you do not at least have 3 members that are in support of that, then it's a lot of research for that issue. It's going to crash and burn when it gets back to the commission for action and nothing goes. The other thing too, just to follow up on that too, even if it's on the goals, if there is an item that are on those goals that you want to talk about sooner than later, you can ask that it be on an upcoming work session, designate which work session you want to see that come forward on, and that's something that you guys could agree whether that meets your time schedule or not. So.
And we're already.
'Cause there's more there than we can cover in a year already, so
But we've done a good job of taking them off.
we do.
So do you have anything at this time, or should we just wait?
I'll wait.
Okay, great. Any others then for this moment? All right, let's move on then to this discussion items, because as you see, we have a fairly long list. The first thing is the,
Madam Mayor, let me indicate
Oh, Larry.
too that on item E, we're not ready this evening on that.
okay, scratch item E. Anything else? All right, we'll start with the first one, and this is something we passed at MPAC in Metro, because Metro has to reduce their waste by down to 60%. Isn't that what it is? And so after lots of discussion, this mandatory recycling regulation was passed, and as you may recall, I voted no only because we hadn't discussed it here, and I didn't know what the feeling of the chamber, for instance, and you have a separate packet, by the way, that just came out. You have a separate thing that says ordinance number 8-1201. Is this you, Nancy, that's doing this? And on the last page, you see that why we're talking about it is because we're supposed to have, by February 27th, an ordinance that addresses mandatory recycling. And Rick, are you going to talk about this too?
Yeah, we're gonna.
Come on up. Why don't you come up to the table then? So, no, it isn't. It's on your table.
I
So,
handed it out.
yeah. Okay.
So-
Everybody got it? Nancy, go ahead then.
Everybody have the thing I handed out? Great. So, as Mayor Norris mentioned, Metro passed an ordinance that beefs up some of business recycling requirements, and they also, in their ordinance, require local governments to beef up our requirements and making sure compliance is occurring with businesses so that we can increase our recycling and reduce our waste. So the main details are in the letter that was sent to Mayor Norris last October, and it says that businesses and recycling service customers shall ensure the provision of recycling containers for internal maintenance or work areas for where recyclable materials may be collected, stored, or both. Businesses and business recycling service customers shall post accurate signage where recyclable materials are collected, stored, or both that identify that the business must source separate for reuse or recycling and provide instructions. And that businesses shall source separate all recyclable paper, cardboard, glass, and plastic bottles, and jars of aluminum, and tin cans for reuse or recycling. So we're saying it is mandatory for businesses to recycle these materials. And then we also have to ensure that businesses are complying with this, and we have to report back to Metro to let them know that we're complying with the ordinance that they have passed. And I brought Rick here because he has been in charge of this The county also had to adopt an ordinance that meets, that complies with these metro requirements. I also asked Pam Bloom to be here tonight because one of the big issues is this compliance, and we're not in. Rick, to give a little background on what